Hey y'all, I'm Cheraw Tony. Today the road brings us to Columbus, Georgia, and we are here at the National Civil War Naval Museum. There are 4 ironclad Civil War gunboats still in existence, and this is one of the ones that we'll be visiting today, and you get to come with us. And in just a few minutes we will go inside and purchase our tickets right after the station identification.
In late 1862, the Confederate Navy Department established a Navy Yard on the banks of the Chattahoochee River in Columbus, Georgia. Lieutenant Augustus McLaughlin was placed in command and directed to build an ironclad warship for the defense of the Apalachicola Chattahoochee Flint River system. The ironclad's construction was one of several steps taken to encounter the threat posed by Union blockaders in the Gulf of Mexico in the region's rich agricultural region. The vessel to be built combined simplicity of construction with a light draft and was intended for operations on shallow inland waters. Based on plans by Chief Naval Constructor John L. Porter, co-designer of the CSS Virginia, the Merrimac, the ironclad, initially called the Muskogee, was proposed to be 190 feet long and to be powered by an unusual center-mounted paddle wheel. Its barn-like armored casemate carried 8 guns behind angular wooden walls 2 feet thick, covered with 4 inches of iron. A strongly reinforced protrusion on the bow performed a ram. Midway through construction, it was realized the paddle wheel would not generate enough power to move the ship. Modifications were made which shortened the casemate, lengthened the hull, and replaced the center paddle wheel with twin propellers. About this time, the ironclad was officially named Jackson after the capital of Mississippi. On December 22, 1864, the Jackson was successfully launched into the waters of the Chattahoochee River. Though virtually finished by the spring of 1865, the ship had no crew when General James H. Wilson's Union raiders captured Columbus, April 16, 1865. The following day, the nearly completed ship was set ablaze and cut loose by her captors. After drifting downstream for some 30 miles, the Jackson grounded on a sandbar, burned to the waterline, and sank.
The Jackson is 220 foot and 6 inches long. Its beam is 57 foot and 6 inches wide with a draft of 8 feet. Displacement 2,000 tons. Proposed crew of 200. It had 6 4 to 7 inch Brook rifles, 2 6.4. This is what the side of the boat would have looked like. 2-inch iron plating, one going one way and the other perpendicular that, as well as 4 inches of solid wood with another 4 inches perpendicular to that, and then 12 inches of solid wood under that. Only a short section of anchor chain recovered from the wreck of the CSS Jackson. The entire chain was forged at Naval Ironworks here in Columbus. There were 2 anchors located on the deck at the bow of the ironclad. That is some of the armor plating. All this would have been underwater. Here is a mirror under the boat so you can see the very bottom of the boat. And if you look real close, you can see cotton stuffed in the joints between the timbers. There is a photograph of it. Never saw any action. And all those nails and pins has been recovered from the wreck and have undergone years of electrolysis to preserve them. This video is showing the different layers that are there. This is the fantail of the boat. Lots of layers of solid wood. And then the iron goes on. And there's iron that we saw in the video that will go on. And that's the charred wood. This is the fantail from the Jackson. This is what it looked like when they recovered it with all the charred pieces. And of course they took it apart to clean it up. The propellers, of course, all this wood that we see in the propellers were underwater. The fantail would have been right there where that outer framing is. And that framing there is to give you an illustration of what was there. All of that would have been timbers and iron. Again, there's the fantail. Now they're putting iron on it. And here is the CSS Jackson. And a drawing from the top and the side and the rear. Or somebody's going to correct me and say the stern. Here are examples of different types of torpedoes and how to deploy them. A grappling anchor was used to hold a torpedo in place. A rope is attached so it sits on the bottom of the waterway and the torpedo floats just underneath the surface. There is a horological torpedo, time bomb. Inside is a timer mechanism attached to a simple firing pin. Electrically detonated torpedo, a metal contained filled with gunpowder using galvanic or dry cell battery to detonate the torpedo from the shore. This is how the long, slow process of electrolysis works. The iron is submerged under the water of a conserving and cleaning corroded iron artifacts can be particularly challenging. You must clean and remove the rust from the item without damaging the artifact itself. One method used is electrolysis conversion or electrolysis. The process reverses the corrosion process to a point, converting some of the iron oxide of rust back into the iron, allowing the rust to be safely removed. Once removed and cleaned, the newly conserved artifact can be treated and displayed. The dockside in Plymouth, North Carolina in 1864. A scene like this would have been common on many rivers throughout the South where ironclads were constructed. In April of 1862, the Confederate Navy contracted with 19-year-old Lieutenant Gilbert Elliott to construct an ironclad gunboat to face Union forces that held strategic positions controlling eastern North Carolina. Elliott established his shipyard in a cornfield upstream from Plymouth on the Roanoke River. Elliott's design called for an iron casemate and two 6.4-inch Brook rifle cannons capable of firing from 3 fixed gun ports. The ship was powered by steam that moved 2 propellers. Construction began in 1863. Rumors of the vessel reached the ears of U.S. naval officers for a land expedition to destroy the ship. The Union never undertook such a mission. The Albemarle was launched in 1864, with Elliott continuing to work on completing the vessel as it made its way towards the Union fleet. And a lot of folks have asked just what is the Monitor. It was the USS Monitor. It was a type of ship that had a completely flat deck with a turret in the very center that would rotate, and it set very low in the water. The USS Monitor sank in a storm off of the coast of North Carolina. On the walls are flags that flew over some of the Confederate gunboats. These are actual flags. That one large one there from the CSS Arkansas from around 1862. Well, that is going to do it for our trip to the National Civil War Naval Museum here in Columbus, Georgia. I hope you have enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, be sure to share it with your family and friends. Also, give us a big old thumbs up. But until next time, y'all have a good day.